Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and today I'm coming to you with another review of some EDC gear. I received this flashlight, tactical flashlight by Sharvol. It's the S1 tactical flashlight, USB Type-C rechargeable flashlight. And I got this in for free. I'm not getting paid for this review. I always give and disclose all the terms for any review that I get. I received this for free and was just asked to make an honest review of it, and that's what I do. I got a lot of positive reviews and comments regarding my honest review of O-lights. I had reviewed these three O-lights right here, which were given to me by Diesel TV, and lately I did another review of this Wubin pin light where I think I did a relatively honest review talking about its extreme high quality, but maybe it's a little bit too expensive. But we're going to see what this flashlight is all about. It says it has 1900 lumens, a 994 foot beam distance. It's water resistant and has a 3-year warranty and comes with a travel case or a carrying case and a rechargeable ion battery. So I'm going to open this up in front of you. I have not opened it yet, so I really don't even know what is in here. I'm just going by what's on the box. So let's get this thing open and let's get my first impressions. All right, so here's the box. Just want to give you a little quick view of the artwork on the outside and what's on it. The box seems to be pretty good quality. Everything seems to be printed correctly. As I mentioned before, if an item is packaged nicely, many times that means the company takes pride in its manufacture. Not that that is necessarily indicative of the quality, but that is one indicator that you can get just from, judging the book by its cover, I guess. One thing I am very curious about is the button here on this tactical flashlight, according to the artwork, looks very much like the one that is on the O-light. And I'm very curious to find out if upon inspecting this, if this might be made in the same factory as the O-lights. In other things that I deal with in my life, such as musical instruments, I have discovered that a lot of times Chinese companies will manufacture products for various different distributors and just simply change the name on the outside. And so who knows, maybe this is actually a kind of an off-brand of O-light, actually made in the same factory. I'm not going to say that's the case until I open it and kind of inspect it and look at the parts, but I'm curious just by looking at that artwork. So anyway, let's get this thing open here. I have cut it open, but I have not opened the box. All right, so let's see what we get here. All right, so I think, is that going to be everything? Yep, everything comes in this case. Sharvol, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Guess they're going for a shark logo here. So let's open this thing up. Seems to be pretty nice so far. All right, that thing is pretty big. It does have a kind of like an EDC case with it. That seems to be pretty nice. Okay, we'll set that aside. We get the USB charging cable, I assume. Okay, that's nice. It's kind of a weaved or mesh to it versus just a standard plastic insulator. Let's see here. We got a card here with a sad puppy saying, "Not happy, talk to us and we'll make it right," with their email address. Something to register the product. We got the user guide, which seems to be just 2 pages here. Looks pretty easy, understandable. What else we got here? We got, I guess this is going to be for a loop for wrapping around your wrist. I guess this is another kind of sling for it. This one seems to be kind of a bungee. We'll open that in a moment too. Seem to have an extra O-ring for something. And is this anything? Nope, this one just might be Lucky Flowers anti-mold sticker. So this is, I guess, just to get all of the moisture out. Let's see here. So obviously this is going to be the battery. It says here this is a Sharvol S1-5000. So I don't know if there is another battery that is similar to this. It says 5,000 milliamps. So right here, if anybody knows if this is just a proprietary battery which I got completely lambasted on when I reviewed the O-Light. I said that the battery that was in here is very rare, and people said, no, it's not. It's very common. So maybe this is actually a common battery as well. So I'm not going to make that claim. Maybe all of you battery experts out there could tell me what this is, if this is something that can be easily replaced if by chance this battery goes bad. And then finally we get the flashlight here. Just holding it, seems to be pretty good quality. It seems to have a painted finish more than an anodized finish on it, but it is applied evenly. Looks kind of nice. Bezel is recessed, which I like. Okay, so it has a push button end cap on it, and has, let's see, there's for the charger, and I guess also has a button here on the front which will act the same. But let me check this out compared to the O-Light. Well, that one is a little bit different, so maybe it's not the same company. It kind of looks the same. This one's a little bit bigger, but who knows? Sometimes those types of things on devices can kind of give it away of where they're made. But I can tell you, though, the clip looks very similar, but who knows? So anyway, maybe somebody that actually knows about this company a little bit more could tell me. But as of right now, I guess it's its own thing. So I guess we're going to unscrew this and install the battery. So that seems to be pretty normal. So I guess it goes this way. And I guess the extra O-ring will be for right here. I think this one already has one. It does. So let's go ahead and install this. And then I'm going to go charge it up, and I'll give you my thoughts. Alright, so I got this thing charged up, played around with it for a little bit, figured out how it worked, looked at the user's manual, and I'm going to show you what I have figured out. Number one, even though there are two buttons, the one that activates the light is the push button cap in the back. The button up here toggles between your different settings. So whatever setting is on when you push the end cap, that is the setting it is going to go back to. According to the box, the settings are Eco, which is 50 lumens and will last 82 hours on a full charge. Low is 150 lumens with 28 hours. Medium is 400 lumens at 18 hours. High is 850 lumens at 13 hours. And turbo is 1900 lumens at 4 hours and 30 minutes. So when you push the end cap, it just goes back to whatever setting it was on. And then every time you push the button here, it just increases in brightness and just cycles through all of those different settings. If you would like to use the strobe feature, you would hold this button down for 1 second. Now, so if you're sensitive to this, you can turn away for just a second, but I'll show you. I will push the button down. It begins to strobe. You push the button one more time and it goes back to its original setting. And then if you want to push it, turn it off, you push the end cap and done. One of the things too, which I thought when I was playing around with this was an issue, was actually I thought the end cap was kind of cheap because it doesn't really feel like it actuates right. But then I realized if you lightly push the button, it is designed for kind of a quick manual activation without having to keep it on. So it kind of gives the button kind of a weird feel. It makes it kind of feel cheap, but it's not cheap, if that makes any sense. I kind of felt like the click wasn't really activating the light, and then I realized it is designed for if you're holding it like this, then you can push the end cap just lightly, and you could just control the light for however long you want. So that was kind of a neat feature. As I said, at first, I thought it was a bad cap, but it is not. And then, of course, you can just push the cap and it stays on. So the controls of this, I think, are actually really intuitive. I actually prefer the controls of this over the O-Light. I don't like it when you have to push a button a number of different times to get to a certain setting. I kind of like the fact that I can set it, and then when I pull it out, I can go right to that setting. I don't have to click through it to find it, and if I want to change settings, it's very intuitive. It's just a one-click operation. Sometimes when you have the ones that require 2 or 3 clicks, such as the O-Light, sometimes if you're clicking really fast, you do it out of rhythm, it doesn't go to the setting you like, or you overshoot that setting. This one, I don't think I would necessarily have a problem with that. So in a way, I like this better than the Olight series and how to get through the settings. Something though that I do not like about this compared to the Olights is the Olights seem to have a nice finish to them. They're almost anodized. I don't believe that these are painted, but I'm 100% sure these are anodized to get all the different colors. This finish is definitely a painted finish. It does not look bad. It just doesn't have the more refined look of the Olight. Now, is that going to be detrimental to the function of the light? No. And this finish does seem like it's going to be very durable. It'd be nice if it was just a little bit more, I don't know, polished or finished, but that's a small gripe, especially because this is a tactical flashlight. It does fit in the sheath really well. I like this a lot, especially if you're gonna carry it EDC and on your belt. It does have the belt loop here, right here, which is also adjustable with some Velcro. I gotta say, this is a nice little pouch for it. I like this a lot. Overall, I'm very happy with just the fit, the finish, and the quality. Just my little gripe about the, I guess the painted finish. But everything else, the little lanyard loops, the bungee cord, the clip seems to be solid. I don't have any issues with that. It's not like I pull on this and it comes off the light. The cap is on there nice and strong. Everything's tight. I don't have any problems with either of the buttons when it comes to activation. And now that I know how the end cap works, I'm actually really happy with that. So the controls, I really like this thing. So let's turn off the lights and I'll compare it to some of the other lights that I have. All right, so I've turned off the lights here in the garage, and the two lights I'm going to compare is going to be the Olight Baton 2 and the Sharvol S1. So let me turn off this backlight here. We'll start with the Olight Baton 2. I'm going to start it off on its medium setting here. It's pretty bright. I've reviewed this before and I'm giving you guys all the specs. I don't know them right off the top of my head here, but pretty good for most applications. If I go to the turbo setting, it really pumps out the light. So that's the turbo setting of the Olight Baton 2. Okay, so it lights up a lot. And that's the one thing I gotta say about the Olight that I like, is that for being so small, it definitely puts out a lot of light for what it is. Because the Sharvol's a lot bigger light, so you would expect more performance from it. So let's see what happens here. Turn this off. And then here is the Sharvol S1. And this is going to be on its lowest setting. So let's move it up. There's the second setting, third setting, the fourth setting, and that's definitely about equal to the Olight right there. The hotspot, I think, is a little bit bigger, and the spill is a little bit bigger as well. That's probably because it has a larger bezel. It really does seem to be very defined. I like that a lot about this. The beam, I think, is a little bit more centered. And then finally, we're going to go to the turbo setting, which is really bright. It really lights up the garage. And I guess with this battery, they're claiming 4.5 hours at this full setting, which is more than what the Olight claims that it can do on those peak settings. So this thing really works. Now, I think the advantage to the larger flashlight is that you do get a better grip on it. So probably if you were going to use this as a tactical flashlight, carried as EDC, this is going to be something a little bit more substantial than the Olight, which I think is probably designed for a little bit more of a discreet carry. It's not going to take up as much room in your pocket or on your belt, but you definitely get more performance from the Sharvol. So I could see maybe if I'm going to be out camping, and I'm going to be carrying around more gear, I would definitely pick this light over the Olight. So that is its performance. So let me turn the lights back on and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so what are my overall thoughts of the Sharvol S1? I gotta say, I like it. It's pretty nice. I like its size. I like its power. I really like the things that you get with it. I like the case. You know, I really do like packaging. That's nice, something I can store it in. I really especially like the little sheath or the little carrying case you get with it. I like that a lot. Seems to be pretty high quality. And if I was going to be an outdoorsman, or maybe if I was running like a security job, this is the type of flashlight I want. It has some bulk to it, has some weight to it. It feels strong. My only complaint, once again, is that I'm not a big fan of that painted finish. I really wish it was more of an anodized finish. Besides that, I gotta say, I'm really happy with it. Let's talk about price. I went online and checked out some online stores. This thing's going anywhere between about $80 to $90 depending on where you look. Mainly on Amazon and the Sharvol store themselves. So I think for comparative to other flashlights, especially in the Olight series where you get ones of this size that are more expensive, and ones that are smaller that have about the same lumens, a little bit lower in the price point, maybe about $70. I really think that it's a very, very competitive light to what you would expect from a company like Olight or its main competitors. Unlike what I said in the opening of this video, I am convinced this is not made in the same factory as Olight. A few of the components are just too different, and the fact that it has a different finish. But I think some of the design features are the same. One of the downsides, I think, to this light, though, and I said this in my last Olight video, and I was completely lambasted over it because everyone told me I didn't know anything about batteries. Well, this battery, I have a feeling, is going to be pretty darn proprietary, but I could be completely wrong. It is an S1 5000. So, I'm going to say maybe this is the most common battery out there in the entire world. I'm not familiar with it, but once again, not a huge fan of proprietary batteries or rare batteries because batteries will, go bad eventually, but this might be common. So if you have other information I don't have, don't get mad at me in the comment section below and tell me how stupid I am. I'm just telling you that I'm not familiar with this battery size. So I think that's kind of a weak point in the design, but I also understand they need a battery that's going to be powerful enough to run this light and be chargeable with a USB. So there's probably a lot of things that this battery needs to do, and it's why it is so kind of weird and large and maybe rare. I don't know. But anyway, besides the finish and besides the battery, this thing is pretty darn good. I'm actually going to keep it in my carry rotation for when I want to carry a larger flashlight. This thing would be great for around the house, working on cars, and I will probably carry it when I'm wearing my Core Essentials belt, which actually I am right now, and I'm carrying more EDC, knives and guns and all that kind of stuff. This is probably going to go on my belt, especially because it has such a nice case. So, comparative in size, here is the Baton 2 that I was comparing it to earlier, and here is the Sharvol S1, so you can see the size difference. If you want another size difference, here is the Olight. This is the i3T. Right there as well. So you can kind of see the size comparison. And there's the bezel of those. And let me put the Baton 2 back up here. So that's the main differences. So it's definitely a bigger flashlight. Seems to be of the same quality when it comes to the build. Nothing in this thing rattles. The O-rings seem to seal it well. They claim it's water resistant. I'm not going to dunk it in water, but it definitely seems like it would work. I haven't had any issues with any of the switches. The USB cable works. I think you get a lot for your money on this one. So it depends on how much money you want to spend on a flashlight. Maybe because of the marketing, you might want to go with a different brand. And because you're unfamiliar with this one, but to be honest with you, after handling this one, I would kind of trust it. Is this going to be a light that I would trust, going to hell and back like a Surefire? Probably not, but of course a Surefire is going to be a $250 to $300 light. So comparative in the price points, I think you get a lot for about 80 bucks. Not bad. Not bad, and I think it would serve you well. So that's it. So overall on my star system, what would I give it? I'd easily give it 4.5 stars out of 5. The finish and the battery. But that'd be my only issues. But that's probably not gonna be a big deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker to me. As I said, I just get real OCD. It's definitely gonna go into my carry rotation, and I'm really glad that this got sent to me to try out. I'm very, very impressed with it. So now I have a much more powerful flashlight in kind of a larger size. I'm still gonna carry my Baton 2 Olight more, but this thing, it will go into the carry rotation and give me a different options and allow me to also have something that has, like I said, a little bit more power and a little bit more throw to it. So there you go. So this is the Sharvol S1 tactical flashlight. I think it's a pretty darn good value compared to the other lights of this size and output. So go check them out. I will put a link in the description below to the Sharvol store where you guys can go check it out for yourself. And I want you guys to know I try to do and be as honest as I can in these reviews. I get no compensation whatsoever. This is just sent to me for free. That's it. And there's no expectations that I would even have made a video or give a positive or negative review. These are just my own personal feelings on these products. So there you go. So do you guys own a Sharvol S1 or have any experience with any of their other products? If so, let me know in the comments section below. I would love to know other people's experiences. But as of right now, I'm pretty happy with this one. So there you go. So let me know if you have any questions. And as always, thanks for watching.